Hello, 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 beautiful people. I am doing this impromptu, which is so much fun for me because my daughter is at gymnastics. And so what better way of spending a couple of hours than with a couple of your favorite people. So these two. Wait, actually, whoops, hello. There we go. These two guys, in case you've never met them before, Stephen and Chutisa Bowman are fucking amazing invitations. Two different way of functioning and being around money. And as you can see, their book is well worn, well loved. And if you see my inside of the book, I've got like highlights and stars and notes. And I mean, this is a book that has rarely, except when I'm reading it, made it out of my purse. It is a book that I carry everywhere with me. I love it about as much as I love the How to Become Money workbook. Although that one is like bigger, and so it doesn't quite fit into my really colorful purse that has all sorts of other stuff in it. This one, perfect fit. Oh my God. So I actually get to have the Bowmans with me whenever I like. How do I get so lucky? So now they're with me in a coffee house, except I'm not having coffee. I'm having tamarindo. Yum. And let's enjoy prosperity consciousness. So I love reading. For those of you guys who've never heard any of my stuff, hop over to my YouTube channel. And I've read Salon de Femme. I've read the How to Become Money workbook. What else did I read? Oh, I think it was the How to Become Money workbook in Spanish. Oh my God, I actually did it. And how does it get even better? It'd be lovely to have this in Spanish as well. Hint, hint, anybody who's translating. It is one of the most transformative books that I have ever laid my little hands on, and I love it. So welcome to Prosperity Consciousness by Chutisa and Stephen Bowman. Introduction. This book is a gift to everyone who is dedicated to creating a life greater than what they now have and to making a difference in the world. Wouldn't that be you? I mean, like, isn't that amazing? It's already like, come, this is for you. It is a creation of Chutisa Bowman, Stephen Bowman, and Gary Douglas, and is based on the Access Consciousness philosophy of living and our personal and business experience. Like, couldn't see that. Let's see. We aspire to show you how you can lead yourself to money with consciousness and shift any part of your reality that isn't working. This book provides you with tools, inspiration, and transformational processes that you can use on your path to success, abundance, and money with consciousness. I mean, like, hey, that's amazing. You are about to embark on an expedition that will challenge your way of thinking, agitate your points of view, oh yeah, disturb your status quo. Anybody ready to get disturbed? I love it. Awaken your awareness and expand your possibilities for prosperity. Are you aware that you, darling, you attract money, wealth, people, events, and circumstances to your life, not by what you do or have, but by who you are? Are you aware that your consciousness determines whether you will struggle in frustration or live an extraordinary life of abundance and wealth? You can know everything about investment schemes, financial strategies, real estate investment, and the top secrets of high finance. But if your awareness or consciousness concerning money is based on the scarcity paradigm, you will never have the sense that you have enough money. Moreover, if somehow you're able to acquire a lot of money, then most likely will not appreciate it and in all probability will not be able to retain it. I hope you guys can actually hear me. If I can get like a thumbs up from somebody, if you can hear that. Okay, cool. Awesome. Just making sure, because I've usually done these on Zoom, not ever on Facebook, but I figure might as well have some fun with some more people, so why not? How's it get any better? Okay, moreover, if you're somehow able to acquire a lot of money, then most likely you will not appreciate it and in all probability will not be able to retain it. The good news is that you can choose use to cultivate and expand your consciousness to create success and abundance. And this, darlings, this is what we call prosperity consciousness. Now, prosperity consciousness is not an extraordinary privilege or a special treat that is only bestowed to some people and not to others. It's a knowable and attainable state of beingness that's available to everyone if they choose to claim, own, and acknowledge it. We've discovered over decades of working in this area that more than anything else, people are held back from being prosperous and successful by their viewpoints about money, prosperity, and abundance. It's not because they were born into a poor family, or because they didn't get a college education, or because they were disadvantaged to begin with. The lack of prosperity in many people's lives is due to the way that they view money and resources. Their viewpoints about money impose severe limitations on the prosperity that they can experience. My glasses are doing a slightly weird thing. All right, here we go. Their viewpoints about money impose severe limitations on the prosperity that they can experience. With the points of view that they have adopted, they create for themselves a scarcity paradigm. Prosperity consciousness is not just about possessions and money. It's about a joyful expression of life, a sense of expansiveness, a joy of being, and a sense of abundance in all things. The extraordinary tools, practices, and insights and inspirations contained in Leading Yourself to Money with Consciousness in this book. That one fooled me because I was like, what? I thought this was called prosperity consciousness. Took me a while. Cute, not always bright, right? The extraordinary tools, practices, insights, and inspirations contained in Leading Yourself to Money with Consciousness will facilitate an expansion of your prosperity consciousness and set in motion a whole new way of being and living with awareness. You will begin to perceive, know, be, and receive the truth that prosperity and abundance have nothing to do with what you're doing and having. It has everything to do with what you're being. Ha! The tools and practices that this book offers will continue to assist you in expanding your consciousness and letting go of your limitations long after you stop reading. I say, hell yeah. If you're ready to experience unbridled joy, exuberant expression, and the abundance of life, regardless of its challenges, all you have to do is choose to make consciousness the guiding principle in everything you do. The inspirations and transformation that you will receive from following the practices in this book will facilitate a wave of change in your financial state and in your life. These will, in turn, affect many other areas of your reality and the world at large. Each time that you choose to expand your consciousness, you change the world into a place in which people can live with total awareness, unbridled joy, and infinite abundance. Not just you, but every other being in the world are all affected by the choices that you make. The writing of this book has been a joyful and expansive experience, and we trust that you will find something herein, at least like 1 or 2 million things, that relates to your own personal situation. We invite you to stop looking for something to do and have, and to open yourself to perceiving, knowing, being, and receiving the infinite possibilities. And what would it take for you to truly be? We invite you to get in touch with who you really are and to bring into being the prosperity consciousness that is inherent in you. Money and consciousness. In this chapter, and by the way this is set up, the Bowmans did like 1 chapter in Stephen's voice, 1 chapter in Chutisa's voice, and of course, all these tools are from Access Consciousness, so there's a lot of Gary in here too. And how does it get even better? Gary and Dane, because I mean, hey, so much fun. All right, money and consciousness. So in this chapter, Steve explores 4 areas. Consciousness, the key to generating true wealth and abundance, the scarcity paradigm versus prosperity consciousness, the myth of working hard, in air quotes, and tools that you can use to free yourself from limiting beliefs about money. Have you ever wondered why some people live in poverty and some in enormous wealth? Why some people seem to generate money easily while others seem destined for a life of financial lack? We've discovered that people's ability to generate wealth has nothing to do with education, intelligence, work habits, luck, investments, know-how, or choice of jobs. The secret is consciousness.
It's the special ingredient in the special ingredients.
Sorry, Stephen Chutisa, if you're watching this, I tend to add little Rachelisms, but it's quite obvious that they're Rachelisms. So, over the years, my wife Chutisa and I have had many opportunities to work with a number of influential, successful, and resource-rich people. We're frequently amazed by how many of these powerful people struggle to find solutions to what they think of as their money problems. It's obvious that they struggle, not because of actual conditions and circumstances of their lives, but because of the lack of awareness, personal perspectives, and dysfunctional relationships with money. Now, I'm the first to admit that Chutisa and I have had plenty of money dilemmas ourselves. We used to fret and torture ourselves when we experienced financial glitches. That's a pretty way of calling it. Like many others, we were buying into these mistaken perceptions. I need more money to achieve financial independence. I have to work hard to become wealthy and successful. I need to put money aside for a rainy day. Ever heard that one? I have to save money for retirement. Well, we used to think that having great jobs with big companies would put us on the path to financial freedom and success. We thought that successful careers would turn us into wealthy people. And for quite some time, we attempted to create our lives based on these lies, which ultimately created limitations that did not allow us to expand into what is truly possible. The more successful Chutisa and I became, the busier and more tied to our jobs we were. We were safe, secure, rational, steady, predictable, established, and sensible. We were striving to maintain our financial freedom in the status quo, and we succeeded. And this is the lifestyle that most people aspire to attain in this reality. So what's wrong with that, you may ask? Nothing. Nothing. This lifestyle is okay if you are satisfied with being mediocre, run-of-the-mill, and ordinary. There's nothing right, wrong, good, or bad here. This is not a judgment. If this is enough for you, then read no further. Or, just kind of like hook off the video, because it maybe isn't for you. However, Chutisa and I chose to destroy and uncreate all the decisions, judgments, and lies that would not allow us to expand our lives and become truly abundant. This book is about the ideas, processes, and philosophy of life that has enabled us to realize our dreams of prosperity and abundance. We discovered that the experience of abundance and prosperity is determined by what goes on inside of us, far more than what goes on around us. We found that when we chose to share our generosity of spirit with those whose lives we touch, then everything we require comes to us with ease, without or even doing anything to attain it. We learn that true abundance has nothing to do with what we have, and it has everything to do with who we choose to be. We are delighted to share what it took for us to lead ourselves to money with consciousness, utilizing the Access Consciousness tools. We do not expect anyone to copy our path, but we do want to share our experience and the tools that we used. We encourage you to find your own path to prosperity consciousness. Setting the scene. First, let me set the scene for you. I grew up, this is Steve talking, by the way, for anyone who would miss that. I grew up in what's typically described as a broken home. My mother left her abusive husband when I was 7 years old. My brother was 5, my sister was 3. We traveled throughout Australia, always one step ahead of my father. My mother took various jobs to create income for the family, and while there was always enough to eat and a place to stay, we lived with an underlying fear of not enough, in air quotes. Members of my family had always worked hard for their money. As a result, I equated working hard with making money. I had no idea that my beliefs could not have been further from the truth. Chutisa, on the other hand, comes from a wealthy and aristocratic family from Bangkok, Thailand. Her grandfather was a prominent Chief Justice. She grew up with personal maids and was lovingly pampered by her mother and grandparents. Chutisa was sent off to Australia to study at the age of 14. We met at a country picnic in a little Australian town called YIPPPPPEEEEEEE, something like that, when I was 18 and Chutisa was 17. I was in my last year of a scholarship as a boarder at one of Australia's most prestigious private schools. Chutisa was in her second to last year of school. We fell in love and got married. Sorry, roadside traffic. We got married after we graduated from university. We immediately got great jobs and started our lives together. I was a university lecturer for communication disorders, and Chutisa was a fashion model and a high fashion designer. In the early 1980s, I was granted a small scholarship to study for a master's degree at George Washington University in Washington, D.C. We decided to go to the United States for 2 years to further my education. We gave up our jobs and careers and landed in the United States with our savings and a small amount of money from the scholarship. Those funds had to last 2 years. We had no jobs to return to. The experience of living on subsistence income during this time period highlighted our issues associated with a scarcity mindset and began our journey to prosperity consciousness. When we chose to live in the United States under the circumstances, we never once believed that we couldn't do it. In fact, we created even more extreme circumstances for ourselves. I chose to undertake a second master's degree program at the same time. We had to tighten our belts even more to the extent that we routinely ate $1 frozen TV dinners for 2 years as I studied. Chutisa graciously let go of her successful modeling career, her flourishing fashion design career, and her comfortable life in Australia to be with me in the United States. She created each new day as an adventure without any complaining. We lived for 2 years on gratitude and trust for each other. And most people we knew considered our decision to live at subsistence level in the United States a major risk-taking. However, we never considered ourselves to be taking a risk. Instead, we perceived our choice as an adventure and an unbounded opportunity. We were living our lives at each moment as though it was impossible to fail. Chutisa has great fashion design expertise. While I studied, she created and produced amazing, one-of-a-kind Australiana fashion knitwear, and she aimed to sell her creations to anyone who could see their value. One day, we took the train into New York City with 12 of her completed one-of designs, and we walked the streets of New York with absolutely no inkling of who to see or how to start. We asked questions of the buyers at some of the largest department stores and exclusive boutiques, and were eventually referred to one of New York's most respected fashion agents. He fell in love with Chutisa's work and subsequently promoted her knitwear throughout North America and Europe. How cool is that? This created a good income stream, which we used to supplement our savings and my meager scholarship. We had to though, as this was our only source of income while I was studying. These 2 years of living on a bare minimum spawned many scarcity points of view. We bought into the lie that we didn't have enough money. We decided that we had to work hard for money, and then we created our lives based on that lie. At the same time, this experience also set in motion our gratitude and our trust for the universe, and highlighted many of our underlying beliefs about our capabilities to succeed. One of our major positive underlying beliefs has been that the universe is an abundant place. We believe that there are truly infinite possibilities. We went to the United States believing that we could make it, but with no idea of how. The prospect of not making it was never a possibility. Yeah, it was stressful at times when the bank balance was down to a few $100s, but we knew that money would be coming in. We just didn't know where it would be coming from. The second belief, one that limited us, was my idea that I had to work hard to create money. One of my greatest fears was that I would be perceived as lazy. I had to be seen as, quote unquote, busy. Anybody else ever had that? This belief was responsible for my strange habit of making work when none was needed. I held on to this old busy habit even when I was CEO of some of Australia's most prestigious organizations. Many years later, after Chutisa and I had discovered the Access Consciousness philosophy, we became aware that we were functioning in a scarcity paradigm. We began to explore what it would take for us to get out of our scarcity mindset and into prosperity consciousness. And through our explorations, we discovered that prosperity consciousness is a matter of choice. If you choose to be prosperous and to be prosperity conscious, then you can be. If you choose not to be prosperity conscious and if you cling to the scarcity paradigm, then you create life based on that framework. It's your choice, darling. It's your choice. So, transforming your relationship with money. Our relationship with money began to transform as soon as we discovered access consciousness. Way to go, Gary, way to go. Just love that, Gary Douglas. Our relationship with money began to transform as soon as we discovered access consciousness and began to use its tools and practice its philosophy of living. Throughout this book, we will share our experiences and viewpoints, as well as tools and practices that you can use to facilitate expansion of your consciousness around money. We hope these viewpoints, tools, and practices will awaken you to the infinite possibilities that you can choose, and to lead yourself to money with consciousness. The aim of leading yourself to money with consciousness is to help you awaken and unleash the power of consciousness over money. Along the way, we'll explore how and why people diminish their prosperity consciousness so that you can understand and then destroy and uncreate the lies that keep you trapped in a scarcity paradigm. We hope that you will use this book to create a far-reaching transformation in all parts of your life. This book has nothing to do with how to get rich quick. It doesn't teach you how to invest in property or the stock market. In truth, we would like to encourage you to stop falling for get rich quick and anti-conscious money-making schemes that you hope will put you out of your financial misery. If you have an anti-conscious relationship with money now, you'll continue to have the same anti-conscious relationship with money no matter how much money you have. So even if you acquire large sums of money, your dysfunctional relationship with money will continue. It'll simply continue at a higher level. So your consciousness always determines your conditions and your circumstances. Unless your prosperity consciousness expands, your relationship with money will remain the same. You will continue to have the same degree of limitation and the same degree of financial mess. If you don't transform your consciousness around money, then when you receive more money, your financial mess will simply grow in proportion to the amount that you receive. Expanding your consciousness around money. So, where did Chutisa and I begin when we chose to expand our consciousness around money? Well, first and foremost, we began to examine our own relationship with money. We became aware that each of us had a very specific, yet mostly unexamined and absolutely unconscious relationship with money, which had created and shaped our individual experiences of life. We discovered that we had points of view that were founded in scarcity and in limitation. We had to destroy and uncreate those views if we wanted to experience greater wealth and abundance in our lives. Even though both of us had been doing extremely well in the arena of career achievement and around money attainment, we often felt this niggling sense of uneasiness that we would never have as much as we needed to maintain our lifestyle. In reality, the amount of money we had was never the problem. Our angst about the money was not a true reflection of how things really were. It was a mindset that we had created. We often experience the incongruity between the way we imagined life should be and the way we were living it. We were functioning under self-imposed pressure to earn more, acquire more, invest more, save more, have more, be more. And we were surprised to find that our uneasiness around money did not go away even when we tripled our income, which had already been in the six figures. This was truly strange to us. We'd expected that such a large increase in our income would make us feel much more prosperous. But it didn't. We became aware that unless we were willing to change from the scarcity consciousness to prosperity consciousness, it was going to be business as usual, regardless of how much money we had. We recognized that even if we were able to generate money with ease, our consciousness would always determine our experience. Unless our consciousness concerning money changed, no matter how much money we created, our experience would remain the same. Shift focus from scarcity to prosperity. Chutisa and I began to look at the unconscious conditioning that had trapped us in the cycle of confusion, dissatisfaction, and an endless chase for more. We noticed that we had made money the goal. We had made it a need. We noticed that we would often think things like, well, if I only had the money, or money will make me feel happy and secure. None of this was real. Looking at our unconscious conditioning was not about sitting in judgment of ourselves. Anybody ever done that here? It was about becoming aware of how we had created our reality. We realized that if we could become aware, of what we had chosen to create our reality without judging ourselves, we could have freedom. But as long as we had judgment, we had no freedom. Well, this is because if we blame and judge ourselves, then we contract our awareness. Whenever we go into judgment about anything, whether it's a positive judgment or negative judgment, then we cut off our capacity to receive anything beyond that judgment. Every judgment stops us from perceiving and receiving anything that doesn't match that judgment. However, if we function from the place of no judgment, then we can receive the entirety of the world. We stopped looking at the wrongness of our financial situation and started asking questions. What is right about this that we're not getting? Well, my all-time favorite access questions. What is right about this that I am not getting? This question allowed us to unlock possibilities for change in our lives. We became aware that whenever we experienced our lives as a limitation, there had to be something that we were unwilling to perceive, know, be, and receive. So we began to ask ourselves this: what must I perceive, know, be, and receive that would allow me total clarity and ease with money, wealth, prosperity, and abundance? Now I'm going to ask that again, and I just want you to tap into it, not from the space of judgment, just really from the space of just be with that question. What must I perceive, know, be, and receive that would allow me total clarity and ease with money, wealth, prosperity, and abundance? What must I perceive, know, be, and receive that would allow me total clarity and ease with money, wealth, prosperity, and abundance? Abundance. Abundance. My buns are dancing. I'm sitting on them, but they're dancing right under me. This question started to unlock the places in our financial life where we were not showing up, the places where we were not conscious. We became willing to look at all our limiting decisions, fears, beliefs, and concerns without judging ourselves for any of them. By putting our entire financial sob story in front of us, we got to see it and eventually become free of it. Taking a leadership role in our lives. For Chutisa and me, the key to transforming our consciousness around money was to take a leadership role in our lives. We began to claim, own, and acknowledge that money itself could not make us happy, secure, or even powerful. However, we saw that money could provide opportunities for independence. It could result in the means to facilitate good for ourselves and for others. We chose to become the leaders of our own lives and the creators of our own realities. We decided to take complete responsibility for all that occurred in our lives. We began to expand our abilities to receive everything. Key point, everything with gratitude and without judgment. Furthermore, we also cultivated our abilities to perceive and receive ourselves differently. We chose to create our lives as a celebration instead of as an obligation, work, trauma, drama, upset, and intrigue that it intended to be previously. Creating our lives as a celebration. We now remind ourselves every day to make our lives a celebration. Every morning we say this, just for today. Maybe even more than that, but just for today, just for these 10 seconds. Can't argue with 10 seconds, can you? Just for today, my life will be a celebration. One of the ways I most decidedly was not celebrating my life was in the area of the clothes that I wore. I used to dislike spending money on clothes for myself, as I believed it was extravagant and unnecessary. I would wear dark suits, white shirts, conservative ties, and inexpensive black shoes. I didn't realize that I had fixed points of view about not wanting to waste money on clothes, but that's what it was. This fixed point of view got destroyed and uncreated one day when I went shopping in Sydney, Australia, with Gary Douglas and Dane here from Access Consciousness. Y'all seen what those boys wear? I mean, oh my God. Yeah, that's who to go shopping with. Holy moly. We went into an exclusive shoe store and Gary suggested that I try on a pair of shoes that caught my eye. I fell in love with the shoes instantaneously and decided to buy them. However, when I went to pay for them, the sales assistant told me they were $600. I freaked out. Gary asked me a few questions regarding my unwillingness to create my life as a celebration. This totally broke down my fixed points of view. I felt the wheels starting to turn in my head after I heard Gary say, life needs to be a celebration. If you are celebrating life, you're not living. I was able to see how I've been creating life as a celebration in terms of the clothes that I wore. And from that day forward, I've been buying nice clothes. No more cheap shoes, lackluster suits, and dreary ties. I now have nice designer suits and shirts that are an orgasmic experience to wear. This is one of the many ways that I now create my life as a celebration. Now, in order to create our lives as a celebration, Chutisa and I have shifted our focus from scarcity consciousness to prosperity consciousness. We do this by asking for the greatness of us to show up. We ask for the joy and the celebration of our lives. We don't just ask for money, as that would be severely limiting. Money doesn't have anything to do with the greatness of our lives. We do. Since we've been asking for the greatness of our lives and for our lives to be a celebration, what a concept. New possibilities have been showing up more and more often. And since we focused our consciousness towards prosperity, we've attracted immense sums of money to ourselves. And we have truly enjoyed that money. Oh, what a concept. If it ain't to enjoy, then what you got it for, right? We've experienced firsthand that when we change our focus, we change our financial situation instantaneously. A client of ours, the CEO of a large not-for-profit organization in South Australia, wrote to us recently, stating that after she worked with us and shifted her focus to prosperity consciousness, her organization tapped into an abundance of funding that has nearly doubled their revenue in 6 months. She wrote us a note. The scarcity of funds, now an old thought process, has been replaced by abundance. I now know there's an abundance of funding out there, and since April, we've received a number of unexpected project offers, donations, and bequests. Not only is there abundance in terms of financial benefits, but media coverage and volunteer hours have also increased. As you say, how does it get any better than that? So are you functioning in the scarcity paradigm? To embrace prosperity consciousness, darling, you have to step up and become more than what you've been willing to be. Are you willing to step out of the scarcity paradigm and become the outstanding, glorious, magnificent being that you truly are? Everything that you think you cannot be greater than, you destroy and uncreate all that now, please. And when the scarcity frame of mind is deeply entrenched into the way you view yourself and the world around you, it can sabotage your efforts to create wealth. However, if you become aware of the thoughts, feelings, and emotions that you have about money in your everyday life, then you can recognize and transform your scarcity mindset. Now, I happen to love that after every chapter, lovely, lovely chapters. By the way, I'm gonna little thing. We've got these little QR scan codes, and when you scan them, when you get your own copy of the book, which is not going to be as beat up as mine, but you can scan those, and you get to see little video snippets. And then at the end of each chapter, you see there are practical processes. Practical processes for this one. Check off any of the following that you identify with. You find yourself going through the day saying, there isn't enough of this, and I don't have enough of that. Your judgments, outlook, and viewpoints are governed by the fear of not having enough money. Money is the #1 cause of your stress. I don't have enough money is a thread that runs through your thoughts, feelings, and emotions. You stay in a career that you hate for fear of not being able to get another job. You spend your days doing work that you don't really want to do just to make more money. You've abandoned your dreams and are fearful of taking even the slightest chance with your money. You're fearful of losing what you have. You're driven in an endless and unfulfilling pursuit of more money, resources, and assets. It is difficult for you to share recognition and credit, power, or profit, even with those who assisted you to achieve this outcome. You have a hard time being genuinely happy for the success of other people. Money causes fighting, struggle, hostility, resentment, and unhappiness in your life. If you check off even one of these preceding statements, then you're under the spell of the scarcity mindset. Even one of the above outlooks, deeply ingrained within your psyche, is enough to interfere with your efforts to become wealthy and successful. Tools that you can use to free yourself from limiting beliefs about money. Examine your relationship with money. Discover these things. Become aware of your points of view that are founded in scarcity and in limitation. Discover your limiting beliefs and perspectives about money. Become aware of your unconscious conditioning about money without judging yourself. Look at your limiting decisions, fears, and concerns about money. Put your financial sob story out in front of yourself. Destroy and uncreate the decisions, judgments, and lies that do not allow you to expand your life and become abundant. Say to yourself, all the decisions, judgments, and lies that do not allow me to expand my life and become abundant, I now destroy and uncreate them totally. Stop looking at the wrongness of your financial situation and start asking questions. Ask these questions. Well, what is right about this that I'm not getting? What must I perceive, know, be, and receive that would allow me total clarity and ease with money, wealth, prosperity, and abundance? That was funny. That can stop me in my tracks. So I'm going to read that one again. Well, I'll read both of them because, hey, why not? What's right about this that I'm not getting? And what must I perceive, know, be, and receive that would allow me total clarity and ease with money, wealth, prosperity, and abundance? And take a leadership role in your life. Do these things. Claim, own, and acknowledge that money cannot make you happy, secure, or powerful. Become the leader of your life and the creator of your own reality. Take responsibility for everything that occurs in your life. Create your life as a celebration. Do and say these things every morning. Say, just for today, my life will be a celebration. Make all aspects of your life into a celebration. And every day, ask for the greatness of you to show up. Step out of the scarcity paradigm, darling. Step out, step out, step out, yeah? And become the glorious and magnificent being that you truly are. I love this book, love this book, love this book. And to all the people that are wondering, why in the fuck am I not reading this in Spanish? I don't have this in Spanish yet, darling. This is in English. So receive the energy of the book in whatever language it's in, and hopefully it will be translated into Spanish soon. Stephen and Chutisa, what would that take? It is an amazing, amazing book. And if you didn't have a point of view about what language you can or cannot receive, I wonder how much you would be able to receive. So enjoy. I'm just offering this up in exactly the language that it is presented in at the moment that I can read. Because like if this was in Russian, I don't think I could make heads or tails of it yet. But I would love listening to it because, hey, why not? How does it get even better? So anyway, this is the book, Prosperity Consciousness. Stephen and Chutisa Bowman, these lovely, lovely people. Absolutely amazing people. They are about to do a 3-month dive into more tools and lots of joy and lots of wonder.